Hello. All right, Mrs. Wagner here. Hi. We are going to do the two metal bolt lab. So here are pretty much all the materials. If you can see, move this over. We do have a beaker of boiling water over there, so you can kind of see that. I do have a thermometer in that as well. So we're going to let that boil. It is saying 100 degrees Celsius, which is the temperature of boiling water. I also have these two metal bolts, and notice their sizes. We're going to mass them, so I'm going to tell you the mass of them just in a few minutes, but I'm going to get going with the temperature part of this, okay? So we'll get the masses in just a minute. I'm going to place the bolts into the beaker very carefully. We're going to let that get to be the temperature of the water. So by being in the water, it is the same temperature as the water. So the water is transferring its energy to the bolts, okay, making the bolts super hot, 100 degrees Celsius. Over here I have the two cups with lids, so we will be using those. I'm going to place the thermometers into the lids, as you can see, and we'll get those ready. We'll be very careful with our thermometers. Okay, I'm going to measure out 50 milliliters of cold water. So this water's been in the refrigerator and it's been chilling. It's about as cold as it can possibly be. So we're going to measure out 50 milliliters per cup. So 50. We want to get that water into the coffee cup as soon as possible. 1. And as partners in your group, what you will do is as soon as somebody pours in the water, you will get your, I'm only one person, so I'm not going to be doing it as quickly as you would. We're going to let the thermometers read the temperature. It won't take very long. So again, 50 milliliters of water per cup. As soon as you get the water in, cap it, and we'll watch the temperature. Okay? All right, so right now, this water, I'm going to let that settle out for about another 30 seconds. This is staying at 100 degrees Celsius, and that's because we can start to see the water vaporizing. So at 100 degrees Celsius, water turns into a vapor, turns into a gas. So water really does not go any higher than 100 degrees Celsius. Water doesn't really go any higher than 100 degrees Celsius. At this point, it starts to become a vapor. Okay? All right. So cup A, we are at about 9. Oh, no. We're about 8 degrees Celsius. And same with this cup right here. So both cups, they're from the same water source, 8 degrees Celsius. So you can enter that into your data for before we add the bolts. So before water temperature is 8 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the bolts is 100 degrees Celsius. We know that because that's what the water is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is very carefully, I'm going to turn this off just so I don't have all this boiling water coming at me. And I'm going to grab this one bolt. We just want the one. I got one in there? Nope. All right, we're going to grab that, place it in there. See how quickly I added that top? This little guy is a little more difficult to get, but I think I got it. Oh, darn it. I'm going to stick it back in because I dropped it, and I need it to be the temperature of the boiling water. So we'll quickly let that get back up. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Now, as long as I give it the same amount of time to transfer energy to the cold water, we're fine. It doesn't matter that I didn't get it in at the same time. Ideally, that would be the case, but sometimes, this is just hard to do with one person. Okay. So we're letting the bolts transfer their energy to the cold water. We've got the big bolt. We've got the small bolt. All right, we are at 11 degrees Celsius for the big bolt. We are at 9 degrees Celsius for the small bolt. Give this one just a little bit more time and I'll read it again. It doesn't take too long for energy to transfer, so we don't have to wait too long here. Okay, still 9, still 11. 11 for the big one, 9 for the small one. Okay, so I'm going to mass these bolts. This is the big bolt. Try to get it so it doesn't roll off. There we go. And I don't know if you can see this, but it says 112. Try to get that so you can see it. There's a little bit of a glare. Trust me. It says 112 grams. All right, that's 112 grams. That's, nope, I lied. That's 11.2. 11.2. 11.2 for the big one. Small one is 2.0. So 2.0 for the small one. What was the big one? 11.2. Okay, those are the masses of the bolts. Okay, so that's the 2-metal bolt lab. You have the temperature of the bolts was 100 degrees Celsius. The masses of the bolts, the big one was 11.2 and the small one was 2.0. There's the size of them right there. Those are the masses. The beginning temperature of both of the waters was 8 degrees. The ending temperature of the large bolt was 11 degrees. And the ending temperature of the small bolt was 9 degrees. So the small one only went up 1, and the big one went up 3.